much longer. Right, let's go up this way. We're going to go back down Gari Cut Line. And then we'll head into the little dip and see if the kahumas are around. It looked as though at one point though they were smelling something. You could see they were very keen, their ears were pricked. They were definitely listening. So I wonder what was down in that drainage line. As we went carried on though, David and I did smell something that smelled quite vile. I'm not sure if it was another buffalo that had unfortunately passed on, or maybe it could have been something else. I'm not sure though. See any nice birds around? Let's have a look. Oh, we've got some beautiful kudu down in the distance. Let's see if we can get a view. Now, with all the termites that are around, I think we're going to see a lot of activity and unusual activity. And James was wondering just that, is are we going to see any sort of unusual activity of the nocturnal creatures staying out a little bit longer than what they normally would to take advantage of the alates? I think so. I reckon we're going to maybe see a couple of owls out, and things like the civets and stuff probably early morning, maybe a bit longer out in the morning. I don't know if we would see them out now though. That would be very unusual, but it is also very overcast and it's nice and cool, so there's definitely a possibility, and we can't rule it out, of course. Look at those two, they're staring at us. Looks like a young male and a female kudu. You see them there? It's a whole family of kudu. Now, he doesn't look particularly large, that male. He's probably only a couple of years old. You can see his horns. He's really only just got one turn in his horns. And I'm sure that they're very happy at the moment with all this lovely new green leaves, a bit of moisture on the leaves. So something like a kudu doesn't have to drink every day, because the leaves do contain quite a bit of water, especially now at the moment. But on very hot days, like all the other animals, they won't turn a drink down. And this is quite nice as well. You can sort of see the browsing level of the kudu. And something that I absolutely loved when I was in Zambia was there were these beautiful Natal mahogany trees. Now, I haven't seen too many around here, but they are beautiful trees. I suppose they could almost look like a Cargilia tree. You know, the sausage tree that Steph absolutely loves to show you? A little bit similar to that. But if I do find one, I'll show you a mahogany. I haven't seen any just yet, though. Now, there was this massive open plain. And I don't know if I've told this story before. It's one of my favorite stories. It almost looked as though somebody had come around and planted all these mahogany trees, hundreds of them. Some of them were perfectly in a row, otherwise the others were sort of all spread out. And they all looked perfectly manicured as well. And that's thanks to the kudu, who would go and stand underneath the mahoganies, which provide a lovely amount of shade. And in the summer months in Zambia, it gets very, very hot. Almost every day is in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So they would stand under there, and then of course they would eat it. So the sort of browsing level that you would see on all these trees that made them look perfectly manicured was about 1.8 meters off of the ground. It was lovely. It was perfect for a tree, to go and sit underneath a tree like that and have a picnic. Now I'm still trying to catch alates, but I haven't been successful just yet. Now, we're watching this kudu as he's eating his breakfast, and I know Paula was wondering this morning, do kudu also eat meat, or is it just the leaves that they feed on? So Paula, the antelope species, so the kudu, the impala, the bushbuck, the nyala, they all just eat a variety of either leaves or grass, or sometimes even both, and a couple of bits of fruit. And they don't need to eat meat at all, because they get all the protein and carbohydrates they need from the various plants around here. So it's really just the lions, of course, the leopards, the hyenas, and all the other little wonderful creatures that we see, as well as quite a few bird species that will feed on the meat. But the antelope, they leave it alone, except there's one which I didn't want to believe until I see it for my own eyes, which is a common duiker. So Paula, that's a little grey antelope that we see running around here. It's quite small, and they're quite difficult to show as well on camera. They don't like the vehicles, and they also live on their own, so they're quite shy and secretive. And they actually will catch mice and rats and little birds, like sort of chicks of birds, and they will eat them. And I've seen this a couple of times, and it's quite spectacular when you come around the corner and there's a common duiker and it looks like it's got a piece of spaghetti in its mouth dangling from it, and it's not a spaghetti and its mouth is full, and it's normally the end of a mouse's tail. How amazing is that they're able to utilize small rodents like that. Right, let's see if James has arrived at Cheetah Plains.
We have indeed arrived on Cheetah Plains, everybody, where we found Andrew, and we said, Andrew, we heard there were cheetah here. He said, huh? So I'm not sure exactly what was going on there. Either Andrew's had his radio off most of the morning, or we were sold down the river. Anyway, we'll see if we can find a cheetah regardless. We might also find Quarantine, Shivambalani, Inkanyeni. I'd like to see Inkanyeni and find out how her leg is after Quarantine gave it a bit of a bashing. Right. The first place we're going to go, of course, Brian, is?
Cheetah Plains Pools.
No, Trifecta Pans. Yes. Trifecta Waters.
3 in a row ladies.
3 in a row lady pans. That's the one. I think, which is somewhere around here. Now, the rain, of course, affects many things, and it does affect the ground and makes some areas muddier, and it makes some areas, well, just a little more sloshy. And Tammy, you're wondering if it affects the predators and makes it more difficult for them to kill. Tammy, I don't believe that it does make it any more difficult for them to kill, or any easier for them to kill. Their prey does slip, yes, I think that was your question. The prey does slip. But so do the lions, of course, so do the predators. They also slip, so I don't think it's necessarily any easier or harder to kill. There was a little duiker on top of that termite mound, just surveying the scene. There are 2 of them there. Well, this is quite nice. I'll tell you why, if we get a view of them. Because I think what you can see there, they're still there, no, they're gone. The female was much bigger than the male, noticeably bigger. And that is the case with duiker. It's one of the few mammals where the female is bigger than the male, on average. Of course, there are some humans where the female is bigger than the male. I have met women that are larger than I. I think the closer you get to humans in the primate world, the more that happens. Brian, I'm not entirely sure that I haven't gone off-piste somewhere. Louise, we're now starting to lose communications, I'm afraid. Aaron, you're in New Zealand, of course, and you're wondering about the jackals, and maybe we'll see them. Yes, we could see the jackals. It would be wonderful to see them. I'm going to just put my phone on. Well, it is on. Lou, I think we're heading to phone territory at this stage. Good signal on the phone. Yes, I've still got you on the radio for now. So we'll see what's along here. I don't think I took the road that I wanted to. Don't worry, we're not trespassing. We're still on Cheetah Plains. But the universe has led us here, Brian. Who knows what will be on this road, or what won't. This is where I last saw Nkanyeni. There is our tower. Having a slight panic attack. Let me just load the map. It all looks rather different, you see, in the when there's cloud. Yes, we're fine. That's where I thought we were. Phew. Right. 3 ladies pan up ahead. Is anybody able to tell me why it is that around the world you will find places called the following? 7 Oaks. There's always somewhere called 7 Oaks. There's always somewhere called 3 Sisters. Never really understood either. Why do oaks grow in 7s? And do they indeed grow in sisters? At least in 7s? And do sisters always come in 3s? Right, let's see if Quarantine's in his favourite marula tree, which I've never seen him in. Therefore I don't believe it's his favourite marula tree. No, he's not there. Brian, do you hear that rather disturbing knocking noise coming from the engine? What do you think it is? Oh well. If the engine drops out, we'll have to get Connor roadside assist to come and fetch us. Nothing drinking at trifecta pans. Now they'll stop pumping these pans now as the water comes. Oh, there's something quite macabre. Isn't it macabre, Brian?
How far you got?
Ugh. That is the dead buffalo, everybody, that we think died of being stuck here. And nothing has come to eat it. Except, of course, the maggots. That white there, everyone, is a seething mass of maggots. Goodness, that is disgusting, is it not, Brian? And that, the regal carrion fly. Those are those blue things with the orange eyes. And there's the children of the regal carrion fly. Ugh. I mean, that is quite something. I can't believe there are no birds or anything like that that want to eat those maggots. Well, who can blame them? I wouldn't want to eat them either, would you, Brian? No. Crawling, seething mass. If you are a sensitive viewer, I apologize for the slightly disgusting nature of this sighting. They're not exactly sharing their food with great relish, are they, Brian? It looks like they're having a bit of a fight. How much would I have to pay you to put your hand in that, Brian?
Not much.
Not much?
I think I'll stick my hand in there.
Would you?
Yeah,
Good grief.
Wouldn't you?
I think...
Sensation?
For some, imagine the sensation. Yes, imagine the sensation. It would be quite something. Louise says, do it. Louise, we would. There are 2 reasons we won't, though. You know, there's a lot of mud here, and we don't want to get muddy shoes. That's the main reason. No. We, too, don't want to end up like that buffalo. There we are. That's quite enough of that. It's disgusting. Mm. 3 in a row pan never disappoints, Brian. I'm going to turn the radio up because I think there is something going on here. Lara, you're in somewhere called Patumba. I have no idea where in the world that is. But you say there are mountains there called Three Sisters? Of course there are. There's a place in the Eastern Cape that's called Three Sisters. There's a place in the Karoo that's called Three Sisters. There's definitely the smell of carrion in the air. Anyway, we'll see if we can find what's making the smell. In the meanwhile, I think Taylor is making her way back towards the lions. Let's find out how that's going.
Right, now we're almost where these lions were left, but of course we saw they were on the move this morning, so I don't know if they would have stayed put for too long. And well, we've got road restrictions as to what roads we can drive on, so we can't go onto twin dams, unfortunately. So I'm just having a quick look down here to see if we can maybe find anything, but nothing just yet. And I'm going quite slowly because I want to see if I can pick up on their footprints or anything like that. No, not lion tracks. We'll just go slowly. Ah, there's the culprits, the zebra footprints that I was looking at. They're just in over here. Hi, zebbies. Let's see if we can get a nice look. I'm going to try and sneak up to them. Always got to be sneaky with the zebras. Why do they always disappear? All the time. They are there hiding behind the bushes. Stop moving, zebra. There they go. There's lots of zebra bums over there. Now they seem very relaxed, and this seems to be the direction that the lions were walking in. We haven't seen anything coming out though on this little road, and it seems as though the zebra are quite relaxed. Normally the zebra are very vigilant, and I didn't even hear any alarm calls, but I think that they've come from the eastern side of the road, and they seem to be going north now. But you can see they don't look perturbed at all. Also, I'm just listening as we're driving. It's quite nice to just stop and listen, because those little cubs make quite a bit of noise. Oh, I'm being summoned. Standing by. A negative, go with the location. Oh, that's exciting. Very nice. I think I'm gonna make my way around there. I think these Nkuhumas are either in this block or in the drainage somewhere, and I don't want to off-road here. I'm gonna come around and join you. Right, change your plan. It seems as though that male lion that was in Buffalo's Hook has now come south, and he seems to have come along around Hippo Pools Road, somewhere around there. So let's start making our way down that side. We're going to jump back onto Central again, which is very good news for us. It'd be nice to see a male lion, I think, this morning. So we'll head on over down there. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get there, but we'll try and do it as sort of quick as we can. Wonderful. So Lex has just said we must go along Guari Pan. Oh, copy, thank you very much. I'll be there shortly. Let's do that then. Whee, around we go. So you'll just have to bear with us as we drive along. But hopefully he doesn't go east. Otherwise that's going to be very tricky. If he crosses Cheetah cut line, we'll be in a little bit of trouble. Now I'm not sure which male lion it is. Maybe it's not even a Birmingham at all. No, I'm sure it's a Birmingham. But it'll probably be either Tinyo or Mfumo. Those are the ones we seem to be seeing all the time, and I think that's what's happened, is whoever is off off mating with one of the Nkahuma lionesses. I think the other one obviously went off on a territorial patrol. Now I wonder what's going on Cheetah Plains and what James is up to this morning. I hope he does manage to come across some cheetah or anything like that if they are around, or even an ostrich. I'd be quite excited to see an ostrich, in fact. Right. I'm also just scanning as we're going along for anything particularly interesting. Oh, up we go, a little bit slippery here, but nothing that Rusty can't handle. Now this is the area, it smells like something has died. It's quite terrible. But, oh, it's very foul. We took a very slow drive around here, but we couldn't see anything, so it must be much further off into the thicket. I'm going under my jacket for this. David, yes. Did you enjoy that smell? It was great. David said it was great, and he can't wait for breakfast now. I'm not a fan, of course, of these smells. No! Darn it! I was hoping that no one was going to bring up the vervet monkey thing. Oh no, James was wondering if I've been working on my vervet monkey call. Now I was supposed to do that yesterday, that was my homework, and I didn't unfortunately get an opportunity to. I'm too scared to do it now because it's really bad and I'm terrible at it. But this afternoon, however, I promise I will do a vervet monkey call. I promise, but this morning I can't. I just cannot face the embarrassment, unfortunately. No. Louise says that we should do a before and after and on how I improve on my vervet monkey call. Not happening, Louise. Unless we can get the lovely ladies who are in final control. Unless they want to do a vervet monkey call for us as well. I think it's only fair. They get to sit and laugh at us all the time and hide behind the camera. Now, I really need to work on it. Like, normally I don't mind being laughed at, but this is just such a poor attempt considering how long I've actually been in the bush for. I'm probably going to be mocked for the rest of my life. So I'm going to have to unfortunately decline your offer, Louise, and we shall go tomorrow. Let's have a very quick look at this giraffe, which we've just come across, but it's going to be a very brief little visit as I'm worried that this lion is going to cross out of our property, and I would love to have a little look at him before he decides to disappear. And of course, again, we've got a lovely male, which I've said time and time again, we're seeing plenty of at the moment. Where are all the girls at, mister? Now, he doesn't seem to be particularly old. He almost looks like he's a dwarf giraffe, don't you think? He doesn't look too tall, but he's got lovely dark coloration. Look at him. African pygmy giraffe. So he's got a couple of sort of marks on his neck. Let's have a look at his face. His face doesn't look too calcified just yet. Can you see that? Those big calcifications are just starting to develop on top of his head. And normally the older they get, the uglier they start to look. Though you're still beautiful, giraffe. But he doesn't look very tall. He's probably only about 4 meters tall. So unless he's just got really good genes and he's got this beautiful dark coloring to him, he's very young. Like I said, he doesn't look very battered up. But it does look funny. Hang on, let me just quickly chat to Lex. Standing by. We're going to have to keep moving. Ooh. Right. I think we're going to have to go across to James. I need to race around and try and get this lion.
racing to get to a lion. Well, that lion must be doing something other than lurking on its bottom. Well, we're sitting here, of course, with the greatest bum in Africa. And that, of course, is the zebra. The birchal zebra. Very beautiful bottoms, aren't they, Brian?
They are.
Yes. Excellent tails. In the background, the Steerling's wren warbler is calling. Please ask Byron to make the call for you when he's on drive this afternoon. You will not be disappointed. It goes tick-a-tick, 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 tick-a-tick. And Louise has very kindly made a note to herself, everyone, so that she may ask Byron this afternoon to make the call, which of course will be funny for her and you, and indeed him, because he's such a good sport about it. I suppose we should also ask Taylor to make the same call, because it would only be fair. Don't you think, Brian?
Yeah.
Yes. Right, we're not far from Cheetah Plains Pan, so let's just drive along there into the clearing. There we are. Aaron, New Zealand, you say near where you are there's a beach called the Three Sisters and the Elephant. Well, that's unusual. I'm not sure that I don't think elephants ever existed in New Zealand, but I guess it was just a quirk of naming. But the Three Sisters, there you are. New Zealand we've had at, what was that strange place called? Patumba. I'd love to know where Patumba is. Please tell us where Patumba is. Katumba. There's Three Sisters there, at least 5 or 6 of them in South Africa. There we go. Three Sisters mountain range in Oregon. Thank you for that. Starry night. I mean, it's amazing. I guess and a place called Sisters. Who were the original Three Sisters? I'm sure I should know that. I think the belt stars of Orion are often called the Three Sisters, but they weren't. That's not their original name. I think the belt stars of Orion are often called the Three Sisters, but they weren't. That's not their original name. Thank you, Book Diva. Well, with a name like Book Diva, why are we surprised that you've given us the answer? Faith, Hope and Charity are the Three Sisters. I feel like I did know that at one stage of my life. I'd love to know in what context Faith, Hope and Charity are the Three Sisters. Thank you for that, Book Diva. Here is Cheetah Plains Mud Wallow. Isn't it beautiful, Brian?
That's amazing.
It is truly a body of water to rival that of Lake Michigan. Aha. Betty Sleep, you say the Three Sisters were from a story where 3 sisters were waiting for their husbands to return from sea, which of course is where the song The Three Fishers comes from. Presumably they were married to the 3 sisters, and you say that their stars are actually in the constellation Perseus. We're learning a huge amount today. Thank you very much. Then, also, while we're driving along, while you guys are in the mood to teach me things, which is always the best mood for you to be in, there was a plant last year and every year that we couldn't find, that I think Judy H. you found for us, if you're watching. It's got a white flower and it smells like diesel, and I can never remember its name, and I wondered if you'd be so kind, if it's on the top of your head, to tweet that through to us. Hashtag Safari Live. Question to WildEarthTV. Terms and conditions apply. Batteries not included. Accessories sold separately. In fact, in order to make your product useful at all, you will have to buy at least. And they've gone, haven't they, Brian? You got them? Oh, you're a genius. Golden-breasted bunting, everybody. Beautiful picture thereof. Here it goes. It's just up ahead there. Did you catch it? Unbelievable. The speed that Brian is able to find things. That's exactly where it went. I think it's moved again. Yeah, it has. It's just flown now off to the left. Good. Not to be confused with the cinnamon-breasted bunting, which of course has a breast the colour of?
Cinnamon?
Yes, cinnamon, exactly. Well done. How did you know that, Brian? Is it just your experience?
Yeah.
Yes.
Lucky guess.
Random lucky guess. Yes, Louise, we are still hearing you. That looks like a fairly ominous cloud, doesn't it? Diesel-smelling white flower. Pterodendrum. Clerodendrum, sorry, clerodendrum. Yes, clerodendrum. We'll have to write that down as soon as I return home. Thank you, Judy. Never lets me down. There's nothing in these clearings, is there, Brian? Not unless it is invisible. This does not surprise me, for clearings on a cool day like this, not the best place to be. You catch the wind, get pneumonia. Alright, we're going to do a quick turn down through the clearings here, and then I think we'll probably head back towards Djuma and see if there's any space with the Queen. Who knows? I haven't even seen any little coursers or birds flying around here. We'll just stop up here and have a little listen. Now, an excellent question from I Walk in the Rain. Yes, everybody, that is the Twitter handle. I Walk in the Rain. You say, do we get Corey bustards here? Yes, we do from time to time. I've not seen one on Safari Live. Have you, Brian? No. But they are around. The world's heaviest flying bird. I've seen them in the south. I'm not sure. Have they been seen on Safari Live? They have. In fact, they have definitely been seen. They've been seen on the Arathusa airstrip. Now, I'm just going to look around here, scan the clearings. I should probably do that with the binoculars, though. Just see if we can't find some jackals lying or cheetah on the fringes. Not sure where that cheetah report came from. But I don't see any cheetah. Do you, Brian? No. Very disappointing. Can't hear anything either. It's very silent. It's very peaceful. It'd be a good place to set up a small breakfast, don't you think, Brian? Yes. There are some guinea fowl way at the far end there, but they are not shouting as they were at Karula and her offspring.
Frosty's not broken just yet. If we have a look down there, you can see there's all these Impala, lots and lots of them around here. Now, apparently that lion is in the distance. Now, we may be able to off-road here because this is a very nice sandy crest area, lots of marula trees and things. So it's very well-drained soil, not like the soil that we had when I was trying to find the Nkuhumas. Oh, there he is. There he comes. Now listen to all the Impala. There he is. Those impala are not hanging around that line. There must be easy about 100 impala in this herd. It is a massive group. I'm going to go back again, see if we can catch him. But wasn't that beautiful? I'm going to be quite quick with my little actions here, so I want to get round as quick as possible. That's exactly what I was hoping for, was to just catch him moving in the distance and then to see the reaction of all those impala. Let's see. Okay, so they're still looking and snorting. Let's see if we get another gap of him. There's, like I said, there's a whole lot of impala around here. See, they're still looking. You can see we are surrounded. I think I saw him. Let's find another gap. There might even be more than 100 impala here. There's just impala everywhere. Here we go. I'm going to go up further ahead. All the impala are now scattering around. We're just trying to get a good view of him, of course. Let's see. Oh, there he is. He's going up and down at the moment. He seems to be, he's just disappeared behind that tree. You can see the movement there. Listen to those impala. Look how they're all staring at him. We'll go in a moment. Ears all perked, watching. Now, like I said, this is actually a fine area for us to go into. The other area where we were with the kahumas earlier was a black cotton soil, which is not great. So let's make our way in now. Like I said, the sandy soils that you see in these areas, these are alright to drive on. This is fine. It's because it is well drained. The water doesn't sort of hang around. There's not a very high clay content. Now, when you have a lot of clay in the soil, that obviously becomes a big problem. And that's when you create sort of further erosion on the ground. You're creating roads. You're destroying the vegetation. We just need to try and find a way in here now. We'll go over this little shrub here, or this fallen log, and we'll get a view. But his movements are very erratic at the moment. He's zigzagging, going up, going down, doing circles. So he's smelling something. I don't know what scent he is. Maybe he's looking for the females. Maybe he's picked up on another male. Here he is here. But he's on the move. Let's just try and get into a gap. There he is. I can't tell you who it is just yet. Impala still watching carefully, still alarm calling. And it actually seems as though the impala are moving closer, which is quite typical. Now, who have we got here? Is it Tinyo? I didn't see a big scar in his face. Let's have a look. We'll try and get a good view of him, though, before we try and identify him. Now, Brett, you're wondering... Come on, Jigga. Well, James, you may have jinxed me, because Jigga doesn't want to go into reverse this morning. Here he comes again. Now, Brett, sorry, you want to know how much do lions weigh? Well, this beautiful male lion probably weighs in excess of 200 kilograms. But a female lion, normally around 150 to about 160 kilograms, is a decent size. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the largest male ever recorded was about 250 kilograms, which is ginormous. Now, this is quite tricky maneuvering here. Darby, we're just going to go through a couple of trees. There he comes again. Go to try and get around him here. I apologize, I do need to just try and concentrate. There's quite a few terminalias, so silver cluster leaf, which do make it difficult to try and navigate through. Right, Sneak through here. You're good, Darby? Just watch the one on the right. It's got a couple of prickly thorns. Here he is. Hello. And it seems to be Mr. Tinyo. Looks like it, doesn't it? You can see not the nicest skin. Now he's smelling. I don't know what he's smelling. Let's see where he's going. He won't be able to catch these impala, I don't think, because they know he's here. They're shouting at him. They are moving away. Some of them were coming a bit closer to make sure that they don't lose sight of him and they can keep watching him where he decides to go. But let's carry on. Let's not lose him. Just need to listen to the game drive radio. I think someone... Boy, let's go over here. Now, I do apologize if I don't talk too much. I need to just try and get through. Are you okay, David, here? Good. It's just a little shrub. Let's try and keep up with him because I can't see him anymore. Okay, I'm going to try and get back on the road. He's going towards the road again. It's because it's getting quite thick in here, of course. And that's what's so nice about Rusty, Jigger and Wendy is they are so zippy. Onto the road we go. Hopefully we're going to catch him now. He was going along here. He was sort of just... Here he is. Hello, big boy. Gonna get in front of him. Let's go up ahead and get him walking towards us. Here he is. Beautiful big man. Look how lovely his mane is starting to look. You can see the dark colors coming through nicely. It's got long and quite thick on the chest. Darkening on top of the head. They really are starting to look like lovely lions now, the Birminghams. He's contact calling. And now he's marking as he goes along. Still trying to pick up on a scent of, I don't know who he's looking for. Perhaps he's trying to relocate the rest of the pride again. Seems as though all the impala have now moved right out of the way. It's gone very quiet. Hello, Duck Dodgers, who is a new viewer with us today. Welcome, and we hope you continue watching. Now, you're wondering, why don't these lions just not pay us any attention? Now, that's because we've been interacting in the vehicles with these animals for over 30 years, so they've almost become habituated to us. So not as humans, the human figure when you're out on foot, but in the vehicle. They're used to the big solid shapes and the noises we make and the different smells that they get. So they've become very much relaxed around the vehicles now. Of course, every animal, like humans, they have moods. Some days they may be more relaxed around you than others. So you've just got to read their behavior.
There's another road on the other side, but it's quite far.
It's just incredible when he does do that contact call. It's so much louder than the females. But let's hear if he does it again. Perfect. That actually suits us, because the next sort of section of thicket that he was going into would have been a nightmare to try and follow him. So I'm glad he's had a little break and has sat down next to us. That wasn't a very good attempt at a call. He didn't make any sound. He just opened his mouth. No, now it seems as though he doesn't want to make the noise at all. Hello Leilani, who has also recently only just started watching Safari Live. Welcome again, and we're so glad that you are continuing to watch. Now, you'd like to know how many prides of lions are in the area, and do I know exactly how many individuals are in each pride? Well, we really only see the Nkuhumas, which consists of 5 adult lionesses and 8 cubs of various ages and sexes. And then we see the Birmingham males, which are 4 males. There used to be 5, but unfortunately one died because of injuries that he sustained from a buffalo. Now this is Tinyo, one of the Birminghams. You can see he's got a scar. It's hard to see it now, but when he looks towards us, you can see he's got a scar on his lip. Almost actually healing really well there. You can't see it. If he looks towards us, you see it quite nicely. And the reason why he was called Tinyo was because at one point that scar sort of left a big gap in his flesh, and you could see his canine sticking out. So Tinyo means tooth. We also see that Salalas, which was 2 females and 3 males, young boys though. Then every now and then the Torchwood Pride, I'm not sure how many they consist of though. They seem to be much further east. And then the Sticks, which is 3 adult lionesses, and I'm uncertain as to how many cubs they have now. Unfortunately, they did have 8 little cubs, but they all passed on due to an outbreak of mange. But I believe that one female has actually given birth, and I believe it's 2 cubs if I'm not mistaken. So if you look on the top of his shoulder, can you see how he's got that sort of bit of skin that's missing there? Or not skin, hair. Now, we believe that he was the source as to who started the outbreak and the spread of mange. He's looking for something. Maybe he's looking for Mfumo, the other one of his brothers. Maybe he's having a look for them. Maybe he is trying to find the lionesses, but he's quite far off of them. I'm going to go forward very quickly. So I'm not sure, but he hasn't got a clear scent, I'm afraid. My goodness, he's weaving back into the thicket again. Whew, here we go, round 2. And I'm pretty sure he's probably going to do another loop and come back out again. Let's try this again though. Now we need to try and find a spot to keep up with him. Right, David, are you alright here? Watch that wattle. Luckily there's no thorn trees, just a few annoying branches in the way, but we'll duck and dive underneath them. Luckily it seems to open up a little bit up ahead, so hopefully we can catch him before he disappears into another terminalia thicket. Those are hard to navigate through. But whoever he's looking for, he's very confused. So perhaps he started off, he had the scent quite strong, and he's now lost it completely because he's calling. It, like I said, it's a very loud contact call. Normally the contact calls are very slow. The male lions obviously have a much deeper, more gruff voice. Oh, trying to find a gap here. Let's go here. He's going into a thicket again. Unfortunately, that sort of open clearing was very much short-lived. Ooh, a little bit of water in my face from the branches. Okay, we've got him again. He seems to have slowed down. Oh my goodness, David, I just have to show you something pretty incredible. Can you see? Let's see if we can focus in. I know we're going to take the attention off of the lion. There is a caterpillar or an inchworm or something that has got stuck in a spider's web. Can we see it? It's hard to see it. Hey, David?
I'm not sure where you're looking.
Just up here. Let's see if I just want to show you because this is quite. There we go. Here it is to the left. Look at this that we've just come across. Now I'm going to actually have to change my route because I don't want to ruin this little spider. What is that? It doesn't actually look like a worm. It looks like something else. I can see little antennas and looks like some legs. And a very small little spider, maybe a little bark spider. Is it a grasshopper, David? It looks like it could be something along those lines. It's a bizarre looking creature. Maybe it is a grasshopper. And I'm actually going to have to go all the way around because I don't want to destroy this little one's nest. Well, I think we will take it down here. Isn't that incredible? And this is what you find. You're driving around, you don't know what you're going to see. We've got a lion in front of us. And then we come across this beautiful creature with its breakfast. But I think let's leave it and we'll find another way around. We'll try not... Obviously, we don't want to harm that little guy and ruin that big meal, which probably sustained that spider for quite some time. So we will go another way around. Couple of U-turns and sorry, little trees as we squeeze through this gap. I think we've already come through here. Right, let's go around and go the way that Lex went. I think that'll be quite nice, and I think he's established an easier way in. And we just need to try and get ahead of him again. Well, he's turning back. Right, let's squeeze through here. He's going straight towards those Impala again. He's not hunting the Impala, of course. He's just looking for them. We're literally doing exactly the same loop we've just done. Have you realized this, David? We just come around and over this termite mound. Wait, watch your head here. Wait. He's so sneaky, and he's obviously going back around, checking the same spots twice. I think he's trying to see where he messed up, where he lost the scent, which is obviously quite clever, because if you go round and round and round, I'm sure eventually you'll pick up on where your mistake was. Oh my goodness, he's motoring through the bush. He goes so quickly. It's just incredible how these animals, they don't struggle like we struggle in these big vehicles. But he's coming back onto the road again, I think, so we'll maybe catch him again on the road. Here he is. Here he comes. Hello, big boy. Now, William was wondering if there's any sort of rules about guides wearing colognes or perfumes while on drive. Not really in the vehicle, it doesn't really matter so much, but if you're going for a bushwalk, well, I wouldn't recommend that you cover yourself with perfume. Obviously, everything is going to smell you coming, and the idea is to stay hidden. Here you go, he's walking right behind the vehicle, as you can see. Oh my goodness, right here. And it doesn't make too much of a difference, but it's also, I mean, if and I don't think it's particularly nice. It's nice to just have a little bit so you smell okay, I suppose. But nothing out here minds what you really smell like. But I'm sure that these lions are used to, and all the different animals are used to what strange things that we wear. Now, Dispatch Griffin would like to know, if we were to come across the lions on foot, how much danger would we be in? It really does depend on the situation. If it's an open area, I wouldn't be too worried. If you bumped into them into a very thick area with lots of trees and they were on a kill and all the cubs were there, well, then you probably are going to try and find yourself you will find yourself in a bit of trouble, because the mothers will protect their cubs as well as they'll be trying to protect their meal. If you walk into an area where it's also, again, very dense, they don't need to be on a kill or anything like that, and their only escape route is the way in which you've come in, you can imagine they have really nothing else they can do but act aggressively towards you, so you'll be listening out for growling. Their ears will be flat against their head, and they'll also be moving their tail around, sort of from side to side and up and down. And these are all agitation signs, of course. Lions are notorious for mock charging, though. The thing about a lion charge, or a mock charge, is that they'll come at you sort of very tall, making lots of noise, trying to kick dust up and try and scare you. But those mock charges, they often stop just a couple of meters away from you. Whereas if it's a real charge, they're coming in low, probably not making too much noise at all. And well, then you're going to get yourself into trouble. Now he's gone into this block, which I was hoping he wasn't going to go into. It's a big drainage system, and I don't know if we're going to, unfortunately, be able to keep up with him. It sort of starts to... I'm just going to move off the road so Lex can go past quickly. Let me just go up ahead. It's still a little bit of a sandy crest, but on the other side, unfortunately, it's not. I'll see if I can try and get him again, but let's go back across to James for an update.
There's something wrong with me. Hello everybody, sorry, Ryan and I were just being very silly, and then I realized that in fact there must be some kind of psychological issue with me. We're heading back sort of towards Karula there, and we're going to see if we can get into the sighting. Who's in charge of sighting of Karula? Right, what we're going to do is we're going to go along here and along the fire break, because that's going to give us our best view, I think. And if there are other vehicles from the other channels there, in other words from the boundary, on the other side of the boundary, then we'll just move out if there are too many cars. Right, let's have a pleasant little jaunt along here. And there, everybody, my favourite tree just coming into leaf, Manilkara mochisa, the low-felt milkberry, whose fruits are supposedly quite delicious, but I've yet to eat one. The knocking noise, disturbing still in the engine. Ah. Hello, Ted in Pennsylvania. Very complicated story about the three sisters and where they originally came from. What were their names again, Louise?
Andrew, come in.
Clotho, Latisis, and Tropos. Right. Atropos and Latisis. Right, okay, I'm going to have to do some reading on that. There's very complicated names for the radio. And they come from Greek mythology, do they? The daughters of whom? Alright, here we are. Just going to talk to Lex quickly.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. We're going to stop for process for it. And I'm going to try.
She should be just down here. What I don't want to do is just kind of blunder into the sighting and cause consternation. So we'll just drive very slowly down here. Oh, I do see vehicles there. Let's see how many there are. Looks like a Cheetah Plains car. Station in control of Karula sighting. No one's answering. Confirm, Aubrey. Orbs, how many vehicles there? Sorry, I've been calling. I couldn't get hold of anyone.
Yeah, I keep going.
Okay, copy then. Apparently we can keep going. That's good news. Excellent. We're going to have a nice view here. There we go. Hello, Jason. Jason, you're wondering about shadow, and I am too. You're not alone in your... That's not me taking pictures, everybody. That is the sound of machine gun fire motor drive on the other vehicle. My camera doesn't take pictures that fast. Sorry, Jason, I was distracted there. I thought we were under fire for 1 second. I don't know where Shadow is. I haven't heard any updates on her. We haven't been, however, to Cheetah Plains, not Cheetah Plains, to Arathusa for some time because we actually don't have any communication there. So it could be that she's been seen once or twice around there, but I haven't heard anything from anybody. So yeah, it really is quite, it's quite, worrying, I guess, because Karula spent a lot of time in her territory. The Ingrid female has been up and around the area. So, yeah, I don't know. Oh, Brian, there's a hornbill nest right there on this dead tree. I'm going to sneak forward slightly there. And that little hornbill is feeding something in the slit. In that slit. The hornbill is just up. I'm just going to see what it's caught. Looks like a scorpion. And it's just breaking it up a bit, I think. It is a scorpion. Was a scorpion. Sorry to distract you from the leopards, everybody, but that was quite interesting. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on the hornbill. We can go back to the male leopard is now flinging himself all over the kill as he was when we arrived the first time. Can you hear that? We're just going to turn up so that you can hear the number of photographs being taken. Quite astounding. And they're also getting an incredible performance from this young male leopard though, aren't they? Was that Shongile now? I just assumed it was the male because it was him earlier on. Karula sits patiently watching her offspring. That's so cool. And you could just see the speed with which those little muscles move. Incredible speed, incredible flexibility, agility, vicious claws. Biting jaws. This is just unbelievable. Good heavens. I mean, how many of the same picture can you edit? I suppose I only say that because my camera won't do the same thing. Oh, this is just too special. What are you doing, you silly little fellow? That's her. That's Mrs. That's Shongile. The male has obviously given up playing here. Alright everybody, I'm afraid another vehicle has just pulled into the sighting, so we're going to press on. We don't want to have 4 vehicles in the sighting, so we're going to head gently on. While we do that, we'll head across to Taylor, who is back with the line, and we'll come back to Karula as soon as the afternoon drive starts.
I think we're about to lose this male. He's disappearing into the drainage line, and he's been vocalizing quite a bit, so he's definitely looking for the rest of the pride. I don't know if we're going to get another view. Let's try and get out of here. Ooh, I don't even know if I'm okay. Well, we'll go until we hear... Am I good behind you, David? Sorry, I can't see. Perfect. Right, let's see if we can get him again. If he does go into this drainage line, then we're going to have to leave him, unfortunately. Some of the soils are right around here, quite sandy, but as soon as it gets to the other side of the drainage, it turns into that sort of cotton soil, which is not ideal to drive on. And I was chatting to Lex. He actually seems to think we got a bit more rain than we thought. He thinks it's about 30 mils of rain or so, which is fantastic. Isn't that wonderful? Let's see. Now, he was coming down here, but he could have changed direction because my goodness, he's far ahead of us. We have to pick up the pace a little bit. Whee! And there he is in front of us. There's even a giraffe in the distance that's now running away. I don't know if you're going to catch it. Now, I'm seeing this beautiful big boy on his own, and I know that Roger was wondering this morning, are lions the only family cats that we see living in family groups? And that is indeed correct. Sometimes it can be a bit difficult. You may think that cheetahs are quite social because you'll often see mom and all of her cubs. But this is not the case. Those cubs will eventually leave her and go off on their own as well. So it is indeed just the lions. That's what makes them so successful too, is living in groups. Of course, it gives them a better opportunity to take something down. Now, maybe he's going to lead us straight towards the pride. It seems as though he's either on a scent, or maybe the lionesses responded to his calls. Let's carry on. Oh, sorry, I just took my foot off the brake. I'm on a bit of a slope, but let's carry on. Let's keep up with him. We don't want to lose him again. Come on, do another big roar for us. And what I really like about him now is that you can see how lovely dark grey his body is actually going. He's looking, he's not sure where to go. He has a suspicion, and keeps looking down into this drainage, which is sort of the area where we lost the lionesses earlier today. Give him a bit of room. We're going to just keep slowly following him. But Rusty doesn't know how to go slowly. I'm going to have to go into 4x4 quickly, and then we will just crawl along. That's better. So if your screen does get a bit jumpy, we are just going to keep up with him, because at any moment he could turn off and disappear down into this drainage. So like I said, I'm literally just crawling behind him. I've given him quite a bit of space, about 20 to 30 meters or so, and you can see he's quite comfortable with the distance between us and him. Whee! Over a little bump we go. Now, no squeaky brakes, don't start now. We go into first gear and we'll crawl even slower. He's sort of slowed down his pace quite a bit now. Now, Peter, you're wondering if there are any animals that we are scared of. I'm not particularly fond of elephant bulls in must. So that is when they get to that sort of excited state and they're wanting to mate with the females, and they become quite boisterous. Now, that is probably my least favorite animal to encounter. And then on foot, I'm obviously a bit nervous of buffalo, especially buffalo bulls that are on their own, or the odd hippo can be quite interesting too. I'm going to pull off the side here. He's missioning down this road. But scared, I wouldn't say scared is the right word to use, just sort of cautious, I think is a better one to use. Let's see if he's going to call it. Yes. I was hoping he was going to do a full roar there, but unfortunately just a little bit. But Andrew, you're welcome to jump ahead. Playing leapfrog now with the lion, because he's walking down on the middle of the road, which makes it quite difficult to view him. So we're going to let Andrew just get a good view as well with his guess. Anna Marie, I like your cheering on, and I agree with you, and I think that Tinyo needs to give us a big roar. He's building up to something, so perhaps we're going to get lucky. Let's go around quickly. Oh, so he's chosen not to go down Vulture's nest. Now, I thought that would have been the next best move. Now, we've been seeing Tinyo and Mfumo hanging around with the Birmingham Pride quite often. I know that Anna was wondering exactly this. Is there any specific Birmingham that hangs around, or do they just take turns? We don't often see Nena and Nsuku, the old blondie, really coming around. Yeah, I've only seen Nena a couple of times. But it seems to be Tinyo and then, of course, Mfumo. that are the dominant males of the Nkuhuma pride. The others seem to hang around the sticks and a little bit further east, but there's obviously definite opportunities for them to come through over here though, and obviously see the lovely Nkuhumas. There's also some wattled starlings in the road in front of Tinyo. You can see them there, and they'll probably love the fact that he comes strolling along and those insects will all sort of fly up off the ground. But there are lots and lots of birds you can see flying past him. Maybe there's even a little mound here that's spewing out some alates, and that's why they're all sort of congregating in this area. Looks like he's going to quench his thirst. No, not really going to quench his thirst. Okay, turn your volume up. Wasn't that absolutely incredible to finally get him raw? And I'm sure you saw all that mist coming out of his mouth as he was doing that. That was fantastic. We'll stick with him for a little bit longer. Let's go across to James, who's got a buffalo.
Well, there is Beefy, everybody. He's very close by, and he is a ropey looking fellow. Now, I thought these chaps would put on condition much faster than they have. I guess the fact that he's quite old maybe indicates why he's not putting on condition. But these are two deeply ancient buffalo, and they are looking hippie. They're looking a bit skinny. They're browsing. They're not even eating grass at the moment. And in fact, the first one, not that one, the other one, was eating baboon's tail when we arrived here, which I have not seen many animals eating. Let's look at the hips. You can sort of see them sticking out there through the sticks. So they really don't look great, these chaps. And you can also hear the call of the white-browed scrub robin in the background. And they, of course, are in mortal danger from two things. Firstly, the Nkuhuma pride. Secondly, if Taylor were to come across them, the Nkuhuma pride will almost certainly kill them immediately. She's had such unbelievable luck with them killing buffalo in front of her. So if I were them, I'd try and avoid both, because one comes with the other. Now, why they should have chosen to be eating along the drainage line here as opposed to sort of heading up onto the ridge crests or into those ecotones, remember, exactly like the waterbuck were doing, I don't know. Maybe they've just given up, Brian. Maybe they don't think there's any point anymore.
Yeah. Likely.
They can't keep up with the herd. They're not big enough to fight for mating opportunities. Lions are everywhere. There's nothing good to eat because of the drought. Hang in, Beefy. We've had some good rain last night. I'm sure that's going to make a difference to your life fairly soon. Oh, and the red-chested cuckoo's starting to call in the background now. That's just because it's warming up a bit. There it goes. There's a little bit of sky breaking through the clouds. And all the birds like to sing when the sun comes out, don't they, Brian?
They do.
There's also Diedrich's cuckoo going. Gorgeous, gorgeous summer's morning. Let us continue. Yes, now Siberia, Zumi, you've made a very good comment about all the cameras that were on the back of that specialist photographic safari that was going on next to us. Siberia, Zumi, you say... You say it sounded like somebody's very own personal popcorn machine. It sounded exactly like that, yes. I just hate to think of the administration heading across and trying to sort out all of those pictures. Here we go. Now Cheryl and Maya, who came to see us, when was it? It was on the weekend, I think. They were on the same photographic trip as this current group are on now, with the same guides. And on the same trip, Cheryl took 3,000 photographs and Maya took 10,000 photographs over a period of 4 days. So that is an astounding amount of editing that they're going to have to do. Good luck with that, chaps. Then you watch a chap like Lex Hess, of course, who's been taking wildlife photographs for, well, the best part of 40 years now. He's got his camera on the front of the car, and he takes it out maybe once a drive, and when he does, you know that there's something worth taking a photograph of. He goes, chick, once, no motor drive, just chick, and he puts it down, and then when that photograph is produced, it's outstanding. Now, I most certainly don't have anything like that kind of talent, so I'm more in the motor drive speed, or motor drive class. Yes, Cheryl, and I think that you're going to find that this current group is going to outdo even you and Maya. The number of photographs being taken of that leopard right now. And I mean, I don't have a motor drive at all. I probably like about 4 or 5. The rest I get rid of. And I was saying to Graham, I was telling Graham Wallington that the other day. He said, but you mustn't. He said, you mustn't delete any of them because, you know, you might decide that they're art one day. I've decided that very quickly I can see whether mine are art or not. But you've got to take lots of pics in order, of course, to find the good ones. Right, we're going to leave you now, hand you over to Taylor and O'Lion for the last few minutes. Thanks for coming on Drive, everybody. We'll be back live again for our second day from 4 to 7 this afternoon. Until then, goodbye from me and, of course, the business thumb.
Now, Mr. Tinyo has decided to settle down. He's just resting up for a moment, and I don't blame him. He's covered a huge distance in such a small space of time. And he hasn't done any more roaring since you last saw him. But something that I find that's quite funny, and I've mentioned it before, how I don't think that the Nkuhumas in particular enjoy the company of the Birminghams. We often seem to see a lot of sort of agitation between all of them. And no one has responded to his calls. Not one lion. None of the females. And we know that they're just somewhere here in this drainage system. They're not far. They've sat very, very quietly. And I've seen this behavior a couple of times. I often chat about how the Charlestons and the Southern Pride have a similar relationship like the Nkuhumas do with the Birminghams. I think the Nkuhumas would be quite happy without the Birminghams. But then what would these poor Birminghams eat if they didn't have all those beautiful ladies catching them dinner all the time, or lunch or breakfast? The only difference between the two, and I've yet to see the Birmingham boys really do a good takedown on anything, is that the Charleston boys were incredible hunters, and they would often leave the Pride and go off on territorial missions, and we'd come across them, on just the two of them on their own, without the rest of the Pride, and they'd have their meal. They'd have a buffalo, they'd have zebra, kudu, you name it. So they were very, very, very good at taking down their own food. Now, we saw Mr. Tinyo walking around quite a bit, smelling the ground, and of course, when he did that beautiful belting roar, he also then marked a territory. Now, Melinda, you're wondering, what causes a lion to mark in a specific place? Well, it depends. If there were lions in the area previously, they would have come through on usually main roads and just marked around every so often. The Birminghams probably would have picked up on those old scents that the previous male lions where they were marking, and they would have marked over those. Like I say, if it's a new lion, a new area, there's never been lions there before, he'll go on a patrol and just mark anywhere. I don't think there's anything specific or certain about it. He'll just go wherever he's walking, he's going to leave his scent, whether it's rubbing on his face for his sort of cheek glands, or if he's going to spray urine up against a tree, or both. They'll do that quite often as well. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens this afternoon on safari, if we find the Nkuhumas with the Birmingham, or if we're just going to find Tinyo all on his own still, scouring the plains of Djuma in search of the beautiful Nkuhuma pride. Aqua is commenting on Tinyo's roar that he did for us earlier. He said that it's got a rip rattle at the end of his roar. I definitely think it sounds very, very raspy. He's got a beautiful roar, but the most beautiful call of a lion I've ever heard was from one of the Four Ways male lions, which I believe they're now sort of in the Kruger and the Jock concession. They live down there, but they used to once live on the southwestern corner of the Sabi Sand. There were two brothers, and they were beautiful. And he had the most unbelievable roar I've ever heard. The way that Tinyo's roar sort of ended, his roar started like that. It was just raspy and loud, and the vehicle vibrated, and it was just absolutely incredible from start right through until the end. Now, it seems as though the clouds have lifted. I can see some blue sky popping out as well, which is good news for us this afternoon. So hopefully the sun will come through and start to dry the ground up. But unfortunately, we're getting to that part of the show where myself and David are actually going to have to leave you. And, well, it's been a fantastic morning again. I'm so glad we managed to find the Nkuhumas, Karula, her cubs, Tinyo. It's been amazing as usual. We'll see you again this afternoon for the Sunset Safari.